All right. Thank you very much, Ruth, for that introduction. I'm very glad to be here tonight and quite ready and honored to do this presentation. As one of my children like saying, tonight, the way Jeff Koinange says it. So tonight, we are going to delve into the world of numbers, specifically as they relate to business and accounting, and more specifically to MSMEs. So thank you very much. We can dive right into it. Let me share my screen, then you can let me know whether it's up. Kindly allow me to share.
Yeah, I think you can now.
Okay. Just a minute. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. It is.
All right. So, so that we can avoid disruptions and lags with the internet, I will kindly request you allow me to switch off my video so that I can just take you through the presentation without any interruptions. Thank you. So tonight we're going to learn about how proper accounting and financial reporting practices drive MSME success. And in this presentation, we are going to discuss, I'll take you through a brief introduction. We'll discuss some bit of statistics, MSME unique challenges. We get to understand how, which particular challenges MSMEs go through. Leveraging accounting practices for growth, how we can use good accounting practices to scale up in the industries that we are in. Where to start and how to scale. We are going to see practical steps on how we can do this. And finally, we'll conclude and get into a question and answer session. So as we begin, I will start with a question to each and every one of us. So in one word, or maybe in at most two words, what is the one thing that can tell you if your business or the organization you work with is struggling, or to flip the coin, if it's thriving? Maybe you can type on the chat, you can engage on the chat, and I can sample some responses. What is the one thing that can tell you if your business or the organization you work with is thriving, or if it's struggling? I can just take some responses on the chat. Teresa says low profit. We can get a few more responses. What is the one thing that can give you an indicator of how well or how poorly your organization is doing? Bad debts, profits, and the loss that it has accumulated, yes. Maybe we can take one or two more. Cash flow. Struggling to pay taxes, So yes, basically all these answers are correct. And if we think about it critically, all the responses that you have given are all denoted by one thing, and that is numbers. So numbers are the most important things when it comes to gauging business health and how a business is performing and what is the outlook for that business. Cash flow, profits, sales trends, customer numbers, growth, employee satisfaction, all of these are denoted by numbers. So in short, numbers dictate a lot of, generally in life, even away from business, in life, numbers dictate a lot of what we do and how we go about doing it. For instance, when each of us woke up this morning, what's the first thing that we did? Other than saying a prayer for those of us who are Christians, the first thing we do is we check the time, either on the clock or on the phone or whatever, so that we know if it's time to get up and start our day. So basically, we start our day with a number. Then to commute to work, you check the route number of your matatu so that you take the correct direction, or the fuel gauge for those who are driving so that you know if you need to fuel, and so on and so forth during a typical day. So in the context of business, to tell a business health or business growth, we also use numbers. So for us to get these numbers, that's where accounting comes in. And not just accounting, but proper accounting. So for this session tonight, we are going to have 3 objectives. And the first one is to explore the common pitfalls that most MSMEs find themselves in. The second one is to enable us to get an understanding of how mastering our numbers can unlock the full potential of business or the organization. So you'll be able to understand how mastering these numbers will help your organization or your business. Then we should be able to appreciate how good accounting and financial reporting practices can empower MSMEs to make informed decisions, secure funding, and ultimately achieve sustainable success. So what are MSMEs? MSMEs are micro, small, and medium enterprises. They are mostly categorized based on their size, and this is in terms of employees, the number of employees, annual turnover, total assets, etc. They can be formal or informal. In Kenya, the informal MSMEs, popularly known as Juakali, and these together with the formal MSMEs make up a significant portion of the economy. Entrepreneurs, usually when founders are starting businesses, the entrepreneurs, when they're starting businesses, they often start out with every intention of doing things right and making their businesses work. However, proper record keeping is not prioritized. And as they become increasingly busy, documenting incomes and expenses and other business numbers is relegated to a to-do later list that they somehow never get around to. Does this sound familiar? I'm sure it's familiar to a lot, if not to all of us. If you ask a small business owner right now how well their business is doing, they would have absolutely no idea. The number that would be on their fingertips would be the current bank balance. I'm sure that is that resonates with quite a number of us. So most of the small businesses, the small business owners, they know that they are trading or they're providing services for which they know that they're providing services. Ruth, is my screen still up?
No, it has gone off.
Yeah, so sorry, just try again.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see it. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. So most of the small business owners, they know they are trading or that they are providing services for which they are paid. And from these payments, they settle their costs. And most of them also have no separation between the business and the owner. And as time goes by, they hit a ceiling, which they cannot scale. Others remain complacent at this point and stagnate. There's a quote by Michelangelo that said, the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. So some of these businesses stagnate at that point. They put their sights, they put their goals at a very low point, and once they reached it, they just relaxed. So the best case scenario, the business stays afloat and is able to take care of the bills, but that's just about it. Worst case scenario, the business slowly starts to decline and eventually collapses, not entirely due to lack of accounting per se, but a combination of factors, including maybe improper management, being too informal, inability to raise financing, which now that one is tied to improper record keeping. And if they don't do anything about it, it becomes a problem going forward. However, there are those businesses that decide to do something about it, and that is to keep a record of the numbers for accountability, for visibility, and making decisions that will drive growth. Overall, for most MSMEs, proper financial management and reporting remains elusive. So we can have a look at the statistics. So MSMEs contribute a significant 40% to Kenya's GDP. And these dynamic enterprises generate millions of jobs and foster innovation across diverse industries. So both the formal and the informal MSMEs lumped together contribute a big portion of this country's GDP. But the problem now is that most of them grapple with financial management challenges, and this hinders their growth and sustainability. So where do these entities go wrong? Imagine trying to navigate a stormy sea at night without a compass or a map, or a dark forest at night. You have no compass and you have no map. So this is basically the case if you don't keep proper records for your business. Not knowing where the pitfalls are does not make them non-existent. Because sometimes you know what you should do, thinking that it will go away. But a guy called Aldous Huxley said, facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. So the fact that you're ignoring that portion of the business, which is accounting and financial reporting, does not mean it's not. It does not mean you have cushioned yourself against pitfalls. So you operate with a very real risk of crashing into rocks and icebergs and cliffs. So we will look at some of these pitfalls and how we can turn things around so as to avoid them. So what is accounting and what is financial reporting? Accounting refers to recording of all financial transactions, and financial reporting means summarizing these financial transactions into a form that can be analyzed and interpreted. It involves communicating financial information to shareholders, and all these activities as a whole is what makes up financial management. So where MSMEs go wrong and where they encounter challenges is inaccurate or incomplete records. Most of the MSMEs don't operate a system of recording transactions, and without this system of recording receipts and invoices, businesses end up with inaccurate or incomplete financial records. They are also faced with the lack of knowledge, and this is in terms of accounting knowledge or how important accounting is to the business. So you might not have the formal training in accounting, but appreciating that accounting is important will make you do something about the business and finance health of your business. The other challenge is cash-basis accounting. This is whereby transactions are accounted for as cash is exchanged. Like when a customer pays, that's when the transaction is recognized, not when the invoice is raised. Or when services are paid for, you recognize the payment, but not the expense that had been incurred. So cash-basis accounting can provide a misleading picture of the financial health since outstanding invoices and bills are not reflected. Inconsistent accounting practices and non-compliance with standards. This makes it very difficult to do comparisons, and misclassifications may arise, which will hinder a clear picture of the financial health. Mixing personal and business finances. This is a major challenge to small and micro businesses. This makes it difficult to track true business expenses and profitability. If I were to ask how many of us in this forum have a side hustle or a business where where some or all of the revenue is paid through our personal M-Pesa, I'm sure we'd see quite a number of hands raised. This is a very common scenario for small businesses and is one of the hurdles that they face, mixing personal and business finances. Another challenge is manual processes and outdated systems. Manual data entry and spreadsheets can be quite time consuming, and it's very easy to make errors. An outdated accounting system such as a manual one, even if it does the basics, might not be able to handle the complexity of financial reporting, especially as the business grows. The financial reporting needs will be different than when it was just starting out. Limited resources is another challenge. Small businesses may not, at the outset, may not have the resources to formalize accounting policies, which is very important, nor will they be able to hire a qualified, dedicated accountant, which can come at a significant cost. So that is another one of the major challenges that SMEs face. So now, how can proper accounting help MSMEs to scale or to do the proper thing in terms of business sustainability and growth? So the importance of proper accounting and financial reporting, it's important since it allows or it enables businesses to track incomes and expenses and manage their cash flows. A business will be able to know where money is coming from and where it goes. And without proper accounting, it's not possible to see this. Inaccurate financial records would make it very hard to track incoming and outgoing money. And this can lead to cash shortages, even if the business is profitable on paper. So MSMEs might struggle to pay their bills or to pay payroll on time because they are not able to manage their cash properly, since they don't have an all-round picture of the business. Proper accounting and financial reporting practices also help business to be able to create budgets and forecasts to chart a course towards financial goals. If you're able to see where you are, you're able to tell where you're going. So financial reporting enables businesses to do the projections into the future. You're also able to generate accurate reports. Business people and organizations are able to make informed decisions based on reliable data. Financial data will empower you to make smart choices about your business, such as pricing, staffing, and investment. Sometimes, without proper financial information, a business may find itself investing in the wrong things, or maybe expanding too quickly because you're seeing maybe cash is coming in, but you don't have an overall picture of the outflows that are waiting for that cash. So you find yourself investing or expanding, then you struggle to control costs. Sometimes you find yourself making poor spending decisions or even miss out on profitable opportunities, all because you do not have accurate reports that guide your decision making. A business is also able to understand the business financial health. This is in terms of whether the business is growing or shrinking. If you have accurate reports to be able to tell whether your business is doing well financially. A business will also be able to identify areas for improvement. You'll be able to see where the business is really doing well and where you can do some improvements, like where costs can be cut, if sales need to be improved. Where the business is doing well, you emphasize on, you do more of that, which is making the business do well, and you try and turn things around where the business is not doing so well. A business is also able to secure funding when you have proper accounting, since solid financial records are very essential if you're looking to secure a loan or attract investors. Access to funding is usually, financial reports are the language that lenders and investors understand. So for you to access funding, you need to show a picture of a responsible business with a solid plan to lenders. So if you're not able to do that, it will be very hard to raise funds. Let's consider two scenarios. So scenario one friend, let's call him Peter, comes up to you and says, hey, can you lend me 50K to boost my business? And you ask him, how much are you currently making and how will the 50K help? Then he's like, well, I sell around 30 pieces of ABC product in a day, sometimes at a good price, other times not. Generally, I can make a profit on a good day, but if I get the 50K, I will definitely be able to sell more, make an excellent profit and pay you back. So now, scenario two, another friend, John, comes with the same request. And when you ask the question, he responds, in a day, I sell 20 pieces of ABC product at 500 shillings and 10 pieces of XYZ product at 200 shillings. The cost of buying the product is 300 and 120 respectively. After administrative cost, I make a profit of 4,000 shillings a day. With a 50K loan, I'll be able to buy more pieces for sale at a lower cost of 250 and 80 bob respectively. I will sell 50 pieces of ABC and 30 pieces of XYZ, and after administrative costs, make a profit of 13,000 per day. I will be able to repay you in 10 days. So who would you lend out of these two guys? They're both your friends and they've come with the same request. Who would you lend and why? Maybe you can quickly type in the chat. Maybe take 2 or more responses or 3 responses. So from this scenario, who would you give the 50,000 bob to? John. Who would we be comfortable lending to? Ruth says John. Jacqueline also says John. Samuel says John. So clearly, John would convince you easier. David says John, as he has projected income and a plan for repayment. He has a way of earning the money, his profit, as well as return back the money. All right. Thank you, everyone, for those responses. Yes, clearly, the person who you'd be comfortable lending to would be John, because he's showing a clear picture of how much he makes, how he is expecting to make more from your loan, and the cost that he will incur, the profit that he will make, and in how many days he will repay. So basically, he's giving you the numbers that you need to have confidence in his ability to pay you back, and that he's not just guessing. He knows his numbers, as in the numbers are at his fingertips. He's not vague. So that is the importance of having your financial reports and financial records if you're looking to secure financing and funding, whether informally or formally from lenders. They'll want to see what is your plan and what is how are you going to make this money to be able to repay. So another importance of proper accounting and financial reporting to businesses is that you are able to track business performance over time. And this will help inform, from the trend, you'll be able to know how to change the trajectory of your business. You can also be able to compare your business to others in the industry and from previous prior periods and do some improvements. Another importance is that you're able to prepare financial statements. These statements provide a snapshot of the business financial health at a specific point in time. The income statement, which is the statement of profit or loss, will summarize your revenues, your expenses, and the net profit over a certain period. The statement of financial position will show your business assets, the liabilities, and equity at a specific date. It will show your general financial, where you are financially at a specific date. Statement of cash flows will track how cash moves in and out of your business. And out of all these, someone can be able to tell generally how your business is doing. The businesses will also be able to foster transparency and credibility. Financial reports present a standardized record of the company's financial health, and this enhances shareholders' trust. For instance, if your workers are not sure about the company's financial health, it can hurt their morale and it will lead to a negative work environment. If investors or lenders have no idea about how your business is doing because there's no records, they'll not finance you. So having proper records, financial records and financial reports will enhance trust in all the stakeholders. The business will be able to ensure compliance and tax management, which is very important. Financial reports are the basis for calculating a business tax liability. Maintaining accurate records, therefore, will simplify tax filing and help businesses optimize their tax strategies. For instance, your books are not up to date, and then the tax deadline is coming up. That season will become a nightmare for you. Sorting through a mess of receipts, scrambling to find all the records and to file on time. You'll find yourself making mistakes. It's very possible to make mistakes because of these last minute scrambling to put together the documentation and the reports. You might also miss the deadline, which will lead to penalties and even audits from the revenue authority. So having proper financials in good time ensures an easy and seamless process when it comes to filing your tax returns. Strengthens internal controls. The process of collecting and recording this data, as well as safeguarding the records, can help identify and prevent fraud or errors in an organization, which is very important. So now that we've seen the challenges and how proper accounting can help, where can a small or a micro business or a medium-sized business start? Or if it's already a business that's established, how can it scale up? So to ensure you have the correct numbers that will drive your business forward, you can take these 3 steps. The first one, dedicate a resource to bookkeeping. You can have a staffer or yourself. If it's a very small business, you can have yourself do the basics. There are numerous tutorials online where you can learn basic double entry principles and be able to generate simple reports. Or you can have an accountant train you. If you're confident to fulfill the role, you can have an accountant train you to be able to do it and do it yourself. But as you grow, you might want to move on to the next step, which is hire an accountant. If your resources allow it, you can recruit a qualified accountant. You don't even have to go for a very experienced accountant. You can hire one even at junior level, such as CPA intermediate, one with a CPA intermediate qualification. You can also outsource the service if your operations and your business model can accommodate this. Once you get an accountant, you will need to ensure that there's continuous development for your accountant so that they stay up to date with the changes in standards and policies. You can encourage them to maybe go back to school to advance, take short courses, short professional courses. You can also you can encourage them to attend free conferences organized by, like CARE organizes conferences for tax regularly and they're free. They can also register with the ISPAC and attend the trainings just to keep themselves up to date with the accounting profession and the standards out there. The other thing is invest in a software. This is very important. And there are quite a number of accounting solutions such as QuickBooks Online, Xero, Sage Accounting, Palladium. These are good and basic accounting software that are good for small and medium-sized enterprises. For larger organizations and more complex organizations, ERP solutions will be the best go-to in terms of software. For these accounting systems, the cost varies. The cost varies depending on the type of software, and each software provider has different packages depending on the needs and specific modules that a business wants to go for. But all this information is available online. So software basically eases the accounting process and makes generation of reports that much easier. It minimizes errors and work goes faster and is more efficient, especially as your business grows. Excel might not be able to do the accounting properly as a software would. So once you have an accountant and the software in place, what you need to do is ensure bookkeeping is consistent. Consistency is very crucial. It's not unusual for small businesses to hire bookkeepers, but they end up absorbing them into operations. So you ask someone, why don't you have an accountant? And they say, sisi ni wakulima wadogo. But wakulima wadogo has 4 or 5 people doing operations. So technically, they don't view like accounting is so important at that point. But it's important to have an accountant or a bookkeeper and ensure they do the role consistently. They should also ensure accounting principles are applied consistently. You don't do the accounting one way this time and then you change the next financial period, you change the principles. You should make sure consistency in the record keeping. So regularly record all financial transactions, all incomes, expenses, all the payments, you need to record them so that you won't have unaccounted for items at any one time. Categorize transactions accurately. For instance, if you purchase a software, the original purchase price is a capital expenditure and it goes to the statement of financial position. But subsequently, the maintenance cost is not an asset. The annual subscription or maintenance are expenses and they're supposed to be accounted for in the income statement. So all transactions should be accounted for accurately. Another important thing is you need to separate business and personal transactions so that at any one time you know how your business is doing. Sometimes you find all the transactions jumbled up, and before you unravel, like you try to go through a M-Pesa statement, you unravel what is for the business and what is yours, it becomes hectic. Sometimes you just even you just leave it. You say it's too much of a headache. So the best thing from the outset, separate business and personal transaction. You can open a bank account separately for the business, even if it's a side hustle. You can register a business in your name, you open a bank account, or you can get an M-Pesa line. You get a different phone and a line separately and dedicate it to the business so that at any one time you're able to tell, what is my business making? Is it making sense? Do I need to continue this venture? Does it look like it has a good future, or is just taking my time and not bringing in anything? But if you mix with your other transactions, you might not have a clear picture of how the business is doing. Another important thing is to reconcile bank statements monthly. So you might miss out on some transactions, but once you do the monthly reconciliation, you're able to capture all of them. Sometimes also, you find that a bank can do a transaction twice and fail to reverse the double charge. Even bank charges, sometimes they deduct erroneously and they fail to reverse. And if you check clearly, most of the banks have a disclaimer on the bottom of the statement that says all errors and or omissions need to be brought to the attention of the bank within a certain stipulated time, maybe 30 days, 60 days, it depends on each bank. So they do that so that if you ever find an error much later, you'll not be able to claim. So you need to go through your bank statements regularly, if possible monthly, so that any errors or omissions can be highlighted to the bank and corrected in a timely way so that you don't even lose funds. Those small things cumulatively, they add up to a lot. You should have visibility of who you owe and who owes you. This brings this speaks to the point of accrual accounting rather than cash accounting. At any time, if you have people who you owe, but let's say, for instance, you have 100,000 bank balance, but you owe people amounts totaling to, let's say, 300,000. When you look at your bank balance, you might think you're okay, the business is okay, there's funds, but since you owe people, your liabilities exceed what you have as your bank balance. I'm assuming there are no other assets. So the financial health is not all that good. So having visibility of who you owe and who owes you, you might also have raised invoices, but people have not paid you. So at the end of that particular period, even if funds have not come in, there's funds expected to inflow into the business. So having the full picture of the business all around, 360-degree picture, is very important. Ensure tax returns are accurate, filed on time, and any statutory payments remitted in a timely manner to avoid penalties. Having regular accounting records. If you have the accounting principles in place and the financial reporting, them working properly, this will ensure that your tax returns are accurate and you'll not be caught up at the last minute without having files. So it will end up saving you money in terms of avoiding penalties and interest, and also additional assessments from the Revenue Authority. Prepare and receive regular reports. So review and analyze these reports and seek professional guidance where necessary. In case it's necessary, you can seek guidance from a professional accountant, especially with regards to assistance with intricate or complex finance matters. So in conclusion, Warren Buffett said, accounting is the language of business. So having a clear and understandable financial records is the key to communicating your business health to investors, to lenders, and basically to all stakeholders. So accounting is the language of business. So numbers are important in a business. You need to make sure your accounting practices are good and formalized if possible. And finally, having gone through what MSMEs are, their challenges, how accounting practices can help them grow, and the practical ways through which to do this, let's do a quick poll, shall we? On a scale of 1 to 5, kindly share where your business or the organization you work for is in terms of good accounting and financial reporting practices, where 1 is very poor and 5 is excellent. Let's put our ratings on the chart, if you don't mind. Even if you don't own an MSME or work for an MSME, even if it's a large entity, you can just gauge yourself and see in terms of accounting practices and financial reporting practices, where are you? Where would you say you are in your organization or in your small business? You can see a 2, a 3, a 3, 2.5, a 2, wow. Many people are at 3 and below. No 4s and above. So on average, I can see we are at 3 for the responses that I've sampled. So basically, what that tells me is that we need to do a lot of work in terms of bringing our organizations up to speed in terms of accounting and reporting practices, so that we can ensure sustainability for these organizations. So thank you very much for listening to me. And a brief of who we are and what we do. Mumbi Mungai and Company, MSC Associates, is a firm of certified public accountants, and our offices are located at Westlands, at Beckham House in Westlands. And our services include audit and assurance, tax services, business advisory, outsourced services. And outsourced services here, we do accounting and bookkeeping, as well as HR. We do assist businesses to recruit their accounting and finance professionals. And we also train around the areas of accounting, tax, and audit. We provide local and global businesses with a hands-on bookkeeping and business advisory partner. So thank you very much for listening to me. Back to you, Ruth. I'll take any questions now.
Thank you very much, Susan. That was quite a session. Just looking at Newton Wambogo, I can see a 4 and a 1.
The 4. Wow.
Yes. So yeah. The comments are coming in. Thank you for your comments. Please keep the questions coming also. Yes, great insights, great information. That is true. Waiting for questions. Thank you very much. Maybe Newton, you can tell us. What 4 and 1. Is it that you had written 4 and then you changed your mind, or? Yes, but it was first exciting to see a 4. I think most of us were arranging 3 and below. Yeah, thank you. Or 4, okay, yeah, it's a definite 4. It's a definite 4. So I think, Susan, I can say the reason why you can see most of us are 3 and below. This is the reason why we came for this session. We really needed this information. So yes, it's quite helpful. Thank you, Rebecca, for that. You know, I had a question when we started out, but I think somewhere along the way you answered it. But maybe I can just ask, well, you said that if you cannot, okay, you can hire an accountant if your finances allow you. And then the next point you said is that you can invest in a software. Of course, the advantage of the software is that it will automate most of the processes for you. But let's say you have a very small business, like like somebody like Mama Mboga or somebody who has a small kiosk. What are the basic financial reports you should have? Just the basic ones. Yeah, because now we really understand that reporting is very important. Financial reporting is very important. And thank you for the analogy you gave us about the two people, and even the insight of lenders understand the language of reporting. So yes, my question, what are just the basic financial reports, for any small business?
Okay, so basic reports for a small business would be the income statement, first of all. Like, what are you selling? Or what are your revenues? In a day, how much do you sell and how much have you purchased? So that you know at the end of each day, the bottom line, if you're making a profit or a loss. And you can also have a rudimentary statement of financial position that you say, on this side, I have my cash, I have my debtors, those who come and take the mbogas and say they'll pay you tomorrow or after 2 days. So your cash, your debtors, the inventory that has remained unsold for that day, you can do just a very basic statement of financial position to see how much you have that you can say can be converted into cash. And on the other side, how many people you owe and how much you owe them. So that at any one time you can be able to tell, are your liabilities heavier than your assets, or are your assets more than your liabilities? Just something very rudimentary. Yeah, but the most basic for those informal businesses, I would say, would be the income statement. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. We are still looking out for questions. Yes, somebody
Either
says
people
the
thoroughly
information
understood or they thoroughly floated.
Yeah, the comments are encouraging. They say the information is helpful, the information is good. Yes, you're welcome to ask more questions. Okay. Yeah, I think I also I liked the fact where you said that you need to ensure that the business and personal transactions are separated. And yeah, I think that if any of us runs a business, that is one thing we are very guilty of. Yeah, we say, see, eventually everything belongs to me. So well, I will see what to do about it later. Yes, and then it becomes a problem. So I think what I'm really taking home is that if you can be able to put it in writing, then you will develop the discipline. And maybe I can ask for someone as I'm asking for myself, how do you develop the discipline for ensuring that you're able to touch, just if it is really not it's not I'm sure you're getting my question, but how do you develop the discipline of separating personal finances and business finances? Yeah, so what are some of the things that you need to, because this I know is a big challenge for many.
Yeah, it is. I think the best thing is from the beginning, okay, even if you have already started out in business or doing your side hustle and the funds are coming in through your account, you can be able to separate through having a different channel. And you give all your customers that if it's an M-Pesa line, a different one, still registered to your name, yes, but separate from the one you use for your day-to-day. And tracking, like you can do even a simple Excel. If it's a very small business, an Excel can help you out. Anything you sell, you record there. Anything you buy for the business, you record on there. And you also, when you're purchasing, you use that line to do the purchases for the business. If it's a bank account, you use the bank account to do the payments for that business. If you really need to draw money, let it first hit that account, and then you draw it from the account now to do the purchases, or maybe to pay yourself, even since it's your business and you're paying yourself from that business, but let it hit that account first so that it's easier to do the records from that point. Yeah, and now make sure it's consistent, not that customer A pays through that account and then customer B does not pay through. There's also the issue of you don't want the visibility of the taxman, so you tell them to send to your personal line, but eventually down the line, if ever the taxman mulikas you, it will still not matter which line the payments are going to. It will still be a problem. So just separate, have everything separate, your personal transactions in your personal accounts and business transactions in a business account. That would be the best way to handle it. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. The questions are coming now, and Newton is asking, do you do on-site bookkeeping for entities, that is placing a personal in client site as a form of capacity building?
Yes, we do. We can do that.
Okay.
We can help your employees walk through them until they are able to do the accounting on their own, and then we pull out our personnel. So we do on-site bookkeeping for companies. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Another question from Pauline M, and she's asking, how do you factor in paying yourself first? This really troubles me.
Paying yourself first, like from your business. I don't know if
Yes.
Pauline can specify from, like, you're making money from your business or paying yourself first.
Yes, she actually says yes.
So paying yourself, basically, when you raise the revenues and they come into your account and you make all the other purchases. Okay, if you want to pay yourself first, have kind of like a payroll kind of system where if you tell yourself, I'm going to pay myself 50,000 each month from my business or from my side hustle, you draw that money out from that account into now your personal account. And you should also be careful to make sure you factor in the taxes. Because in future, if the taxman comes and says you have been paying yourself these monies and there's no tax paid on it, it might be a problem. And we all build businesses with the eventual goal of building them into big businesses. And at that point, in case the records of previous years are looked into, it will be a problem. But you can pay yourself, but make sure it's in the correct. You don't just draw funds from the business. You transfer as a net amount into your account and you pay the taxes that are supposed to be paid. That is what I would advise.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is quite clear. I think many of us may need your services, especially on the tax front. I think this is we need a lot of education on that. So I don't know whether we should have another monthly reflection meeting and then we can talk about the taxes. But really, thank you so much, Susan. If you have a question, please keep them coming. We shall look into them as we go along. Thank you, Susan. It was enlightening. It was very exciting. Thank you for breaking it down. Yes, somebody's asking, this is Newton, he's asking if the presentation is shareable and your contacts as well.
Yes, we can share the presentation. I'll share with you with the GLN and you can do the sharing. The contact,
that's okay.
I can, I don't know how it's best to go about it. Can I post on the chat?
You can actually, maybe you can put it on the presentation at the end of the presentation.
Oh, okay. And then when you share,
yeah,
we'll have the contact. Okay, that's okay then.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, it's a presentation worth having. That's okay. So thank you everybody for joining. When you were finishing, I was thinking, wow, okay, are we really done? Thank you for breaking it down. We fear numbers. Naturally, we fear numbers. And so sometimes we think it's going to be too complex, but you brought it home so well. And thank you. And I just want to encourage us to maybe look through those of us who have businesses and small businesses and big businesses as well. And this is information that will help us to improve. For the sake of those who are joining us for the first time, I had promised to just let you know who we are. And yes, we are a network of leaders, and I'm sure the person who invited you must have told you that they belong to a certain network where they learn about leadership and they work with leaders as well. And we have quite a number of trainings, and apart from trainings that we do, we also still meet like what we are meeting for today. So it is a continuous growth process for the leadership network. I will request that we are going to share a flyer that gives us information about all our all what we do, because for the sake of time, we are supposed to be finishing by 9:15. But I would also like to emphasize on a particular forum that we do, and it's called the Strategic Leadership Masterclass. So this is going to be starting. It has been extended, the extension, and this is like our level 2 or level 3, we would say that. But so that means that you must have done the leadership masterclass before you do this one. We are going to have it starting on the 19th of June. And then I want to also announce a very special discount of 5,000 shillings if you register and make payment by 10th of June. So please be informed. For those of us who are interested in joining that, it's going to be starting on the 19th of June. And then try your best to just make payment by 10th of June so that you can get the 5,000 discount. I am an alumni of that class, and I can tell you it is transformative. You learn a lot from the industry, and it's just worth registering for. So welcome. For those of us who are joining us for the first time, we'll share the brochure and you'll be able to see how you can be able to become a part of us. But before we finish, I would want us to celebrate the president and founder of this great organization. His name is Joseph Kiarie. Well, in advance, I don't know, we need to say, when it's past, we say it's belated birthday. So I think we should say it's a pre-birthday of the president and founder of this organization. So you can just get out your emojis, celebration emojis, claps and everything, as we just say, and you can put it on the chat as we say happy birthday to Mr. Joseph Kiarie. Oh, Pauline, yeah, your hand is okay. Yeah, can see your celebration. Yes, the claps are coming. Thank you. I also need to share mine. We can see you, Mr. Kiarie. Oh yeah, the cakes are dropping, virtual cakes. Probably Rebecca needs to tell us. She needs to tell us where the cake will be tomorrow so that we can all find our way there. Karibu thank you, everybody. Thank you for this. We can see, yes, you're highly celebrated. Thank you so much. Thank you for, yeah, somebody is even putting a king emoji. Yes, they acknowledge, and yes, they actually acknowledge your presidency. Thank you. Thank you for even just believing in us, yes, and encouraging us and just pushing us. Yeah, personally, I'm a person who says, I think I was just pushed. Yeah, I joined this when I was at such a busy time. I didn't even know I was going to graduate, but I did graduate, and I know that's the story of many of us. So yes, Mr. Kiarie, our president, feel celebrated, and we wish you the best in your new year, and may you scale even higher and higher as we continue. It would be wrong for me to close the meeting without giving you an opportunity to say hello to us. We also acknowledge there are new people, so they might just be wondering who is this person we are celebrating. So just give us the closing remarks for this May monthly reflection, and then we will be done. You're welcome.
Wow, thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you for the surprise.
Yeah.
I feel so young, and I'm so happy. Thank you, leaders. I really appreciate for the celebration. I really want to say thank you for the messages. And Susan, I knew there's something from the first time we met, from your presentations during the strategic leadership. I could sense there's something that we can be able to learn quite a lot from you. And I think what you have shared is just a tip of the iceberg. Yeah, it's just a tip of the iceberg. I think there's so much more to learn. And I agree with Newton and the entire team here that we might need some more time just to be able to engage with you and help us, because there are quite a number of challenges that MSMEs are facing. And we always say, you don't wait to grow big to have structures. You embrace structures when you are growing, when you are coming up. It is the structure that will help us to be able to really get to those high levels. And as we are saying, when you become big, again now, even from where you started, it becomes important from where did you start. And sometimes you have those audits that will get back to your roots. So I think the roots needs to be well grounded. And we really appreciate Susan and Ruth for taking us through these discussions. We look forward to more of this. Next month, we have another high-level discussion, just as we have had today. And already we are looking at July, quite a number of very, very high-level discussions coming up. Those of us who are joining us, and maybe you have not gone through any of our training, we really want to encourage you because this is part of leadership, because leadership is about demonstrating leadership on all these areas, including financial management, including personal leadership or self-management, and many other aspects. So this is one of the areas. So in GLN, our core mandate is to equip leaders, because this is the turning point of every organization. It's also the turning point of every individual. In this masterclass, we normally say a better life has to start with a better leader. And therefore, we bring leadership at a personal level before we even look out in terms of how we are leading others. So we invite you. I'm sure someone was able to reach out to you. And if you allow us, we'll also be able to share some more insights, as Ruth has mentioned, about a detailed flyer. We are also launching a new product in July, and this will be very interesting to Susan. And maybe, Susan, we could discuss so that we can see, do we need to add a module on what you have shared? Then we just refine it a little bit. We'll meet and discuss about that. We are launching a new product, strategic entrepreneurship, which aligns very well with what we have shared. And we'll want to really collaborate with more leaders that are focused on that particular area, so that we are a bit comprehensive, and we're also able to make it very practical. When we work together with an MSME, at the end of the masterclass, we'll be attaching them to mentors, in that particular areas. Then they're able to move on for another 3 months to 6 months, so that within 1 year, at least, we expect that MSME to have some roots, and also to have some sort of mentorship, which will enable the MSME to be able to grow. So thank you so much. I will want to pause there. I want to really appreciate all of you leaders. Thank you for showing up. I believe there is much that we have learned. We look forward to share the presentation from Susan, feel free to engage with her at a personal level or within the organization, just to be able to probably to now get some more clarification that is more focused to your own personal needs. So with that, let me say thank you again. And Ruth, I think we are good to go unless there's something that is pending.
Yeah, we are good to go. That's it.
Okay. So thank you so much, Ruth, as well. Maybe we could say a prayer just as a way of appreciating that God has accorded us this opportunity as leaders. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that we have had this conversation. There's so much we have learned. There's so much to still learn. And we even thank you that you've connected us together as leaders, just to be able to sharpen one another, encourage one another, inspire one another, and also learn from one another, just as it has happened today. I want to thank you for the organizing team. Thank you for Ruth and the entire team. Thank you for Susan. And thank you even for all of us who have participated. Our prayer is that you continue to help us to be better leaders at a personal level and even within the organization. Lord, we have a night before us. We pray that you be together with us and give us a blessed moment in your presence. For this we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Good. Thank you so much. We shall also share this recording. You can watch again and again, and in the spirit of continuous learning. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you.